recent World Economic Forum report by Oxfam Nigeria says the wealthy should pay higher taxes in order to address the economic imbalance in the world. The report suggested that this upper class in the world has continued to rise even after the COVID-19 pandemic, while in contrast, the living condition of the poor has continued to drop drastically. Nigeria is not exonerated as it is also affected by this unfortunate trend as it continues to spend 49% and more of its GDP on debt servicing, which represents 4 times more on what is spent on education and other social protection budgets since 2020. To this end, Oxfam Nigeria held a press conference to enlighten and educate the public on the need for multinationals and the super-rich to pay higher taxes. Country Director Oxfam Nigeria, who was represented by Regina Afiemo, says over the last 10 years, the wealthy are getting richer and paying less taxes.
Despite Nigeria having one of the lowest tax to GDP ratio in the world, with just 3.6% in 2019, Nigeria spent 80.6% of its revenue on debt servicing in 2022. While millions of Nigerians are unsure where their next meals will come from, the super rich are getting richer and not paying their fair share of taxes, but taking advantage of the complexities and loopholes in the tax legislation, as well as the lack of transparency and accountability in tax implementation, thereby depriving the country of the revenue needed for social protection and inequality reduction, says Dr. Vincent Ahonsi, the country director for Oxfam in Nigeria. Taking the super rich and big corporations is the door out of today's overlapping crisis. It's time we demolish the convenient myth that tax cuts for the richest result in their wealth.
On his part, Chief Executive Connected Development and Follow the Money, Hamzat Lawal, expressed displeasure over the reports. He also said now is the time for Nigerians to ask those seeking elective offices on their position for taxes, especially the rich.
But this year, Davos is all about shame and not shock. People have become greedy, and it's really sickening as humanity. How else can I describe this? And, I want to humanize some of these numbers, because when you hear this data, sometimes we forget that we're talking about people who go hunger. Today, we have over 115 million people that are poor. When my colleague talked about the lady in Uganda who is earning $80, in Nigerian context, that is less than 40,000 naira and paying tax of about 18,000 naira. So what is left for her to take home? To feed her family, to provide shelter, pay for healthcare out of pocket, pay for education. So I think now more than ever before is providing us a unique opportunity as we go into elections next month. I've looked through the manifesto of the political parties and these candidates we have. I've looked through their policy documents and statements, and none of them is coming strong on taxing the richest. And I think it's an opportunity for them to come clear on what are their position on taxing the rich.
And other stakeholders calls on the media to be partners to balance the inequality in paying taxes.
In every opportunity I have, I always want to see the media as partners, not just like people who are always on the other side to take the story, but I also want them to see themselves as part of the story. You bringing it out there makes them take it seriously. There was a commitment of 100 billion naira per annum at the Paris Agreement by the super rich countries. If we want to break from the report of 1 trillion naira that we can get from the rich, it means we can get 100 billion naira to solve this many crises for 17 good years. So it comes to that. it can go a long way to solving the climate crisis.
High point of the conference is the launching of the reports.